couple days ago I come into my son's closet, which is our storage closet for the most part. So we're not in here that often. I noticed that the ceiling obviously has some kind of a pretty bad leak going, to a point where it's actually building, it's actually growing mold. So that's not acceptable. We're gonna have to get up on the rooftop and take a look and see what the heck is going on. Alright, we're up here on the roof in the general area. There's no obvious shingle damage, but I can tell you right now, there is definitely a soft spot right here. Roofs ain't supposed to do that. So what we're going to do is bring the shingles up and off. I have another pack of shingles that will kind of match the roof, but we've got to repair this. So now the best way to get under these shingles is going to be with just a flat crowbar. Just go under it, pull them up because they're damaged, so we're going to be replacing them anyways. Tear them out. Now, this leak has been here a while, obviously. So, I was definitely right. This leak has been here a while. I mean, this wood is just mush. What's funny is it pretty much stopped here, so it's a little soft there. I'll probably end up replacing that too, but it's just this one little area. So we got to pull the shingles back, and we're going to cut this whole area out and just stick another piece of OSB in there, because that's pretty much what's already here is the OSB, if you look. Just OSB, because that's what they use on these mobile homes. And honestly, it's better for sheeting roofs. Plywood warps, this doesn't. This roof is already 15 years old, so it means we are at the end of the life cycle of these shingles anyways. But since this is leaking so bad, you know, that's why we decided to repair it instead of redo the whole house. Because technically, we're not ready to re-roof this whole house. When we do re-roof it, it's most likely gonna be metal roofing. Which I'll probably end up making a video on that, because I'll probably be the one that does it. So I'm going to stop when I pull this shingle, that's it. But it actually goes under this and under this one slightly. So that's why I'm going up a little extra. Trick is being very gentle, because if you rip one of these shingles, you don't have to remove that one and go a couple up above that. The trick is being gentle in what you do. So this shingle is going to go under there and actually end up right about here on this third shingle up. So shingle 1 goes under shingle 2 and partly under shingle 3. That's why you have to go up so far, and then you'll want to slide the new ones up and in. And here's a nice little shot of our damage, like to the point where I can just literally peel it off. Oh, look at that. There's a seam right there. How lovely. So we'll actually probably just go to the seam. I am going to take this down, because if you look, it got damaged as well. So I'm going to come down, make a cut, cut it. All this area and just stick in a new board. This all looks alright though. Now I want you to see exactly what I'm doing here. I'm pulling this shingle out. This one's coming out. But in order for this one to come out, I have to go up a shingle. Okay, and actually this nail on this next shingle up is actually penetrating through this shingle down here. So what you got to do is slowly go up underneath, and I don't know, there's that nail right there. You want to very easily pry that one up, so that way once we're ready we can slide the next shingle under there, and then we're just going to keep on doing the same. So here's the next nail. Here's a nail right here. Since we're pulling this shingle out, we have to get it. See how we're very easily getting actually underneath that nail and pulling that whole piece up like that. And then once we slide the next shingle, once we're ready, we'll slide the next shingle under, and then we'll nail these down, and that'll go through the shingle that we're actually replacing. But we want to be really easy not to rip these and destroy the integrity of the shingles that we are leaving. So to pop up the nail on this shingle, I'm actually one shingle down. The shingle we're actually removing, that's where you want to go underneath to pop up that shingle, up that nail. And the reason is because you're putting the pressure and the scraping and the damage on the shingle that you're removing anyway. So nails and anything else, give yourself a nice clean working area. Okay, now that we got deconstruction finished, we basically need to see what we're cutting. So we need to get rid of this little bit of paper that's on the roof. I see a seam right here, so I'm just going to cut along that. Cut right above it. Same thing here, just going to go down. You got all this that we ripped, so we may as well cut it out. Actually, even though it's actually leaked all the way through, not a nail. Whenever you find a nail, go in and just pop them up. You don't want them. Okay. So, actually damaged. You can kind of see the dark marking here. I mean, it's solid there, and it's mush here. Oops. Yep. So what we're gonna do is probably cut down this line, keep this line here, cut up here. There's gonna be a stud somewhere over here. So first, using our hole. Now, granted, we know that the wood has swelled up a little bit because it's wet, and that's what OSB does. But you don't want to like cut 2 inches down. You want to set your blade depth to be just slightly more than the actual wood that you're cutting through, because you don't want to be cutting very deep into these threads. You don't want to be cutting very deep into the trusses. A trick to keep your cord from sliding off the roof is, if you've got your ladder, just take your cord with enough slack and wrap it around. I know you guys probably don't have these on your ladders. These are for hanging off of strands like cable wire and whatnot. But you just wrap it around the top and it won't move. Now I've got all this slack and I don't have to worry about it falling off the roof. Just cut straight down into the wood and then pull back up just to make sure I'm not cutting through, and you should see just a small little actual cut all the way through the wood, and that's exactly what you want. Beautiful. If you look, I couldn't have asked for setting my depth correctly any better. You can actually see where I just barely with the blade nicked the actual truss. But there's even some spots where I didn't even nick it. So that's, you can't ask for anything better than that. That's exactly how you want it. You want to cut through the wood, but not into the truss very much. Now, you see the truss here? I don't know what the hell this is. This is probably because this board was over too much and they were drinking that day they made this house. So what I'm gonna do is I actually cut this one over more into the roughly the center of the truss. I might need to cut over a little more. I'm going to do the same for this board, cut it more into the center of the truss, and then screw both of the boards in. This is like some broken half-ass like patchwork that, since this board up here didn't line up on the truss, because you can see there's almost no truss left for it to actually hit. They just rigged that shit together. Alright, got the hole all cut out. Now we just basically need to measure it. I always have to cut them like 3 different times because I usually make it a pretty tight fit. Hooray! Alright, now that the board's in there, we're going to go ahead and just bolt it down, screw it down. I like screws personally. Alright, time to start laying down the shingles. I just brought a couple up here. I'm hoping that once I clean the roof, the colors will match kind of close. I want it to basically line up like all the others do. Once you've got it lined up, normally if you're going to do a big section, you're going to run chalk lines, but this isn't a big enough section. And actually, there already is chalk lines. Make sure it butts up real close to the edge here, using just roofing nails. Attach it to the house. Never go like right here. So always kind of off to the side of it. That's it. So what I'll do is I'll now go to the store. I got a rip shingle here, another one where a nail popped through there, and I'm going to run a bead of tar underneath this over the nail holes just to be on the extra safe side. Now we also still need to trim these shingles over here. So, alright, now you just take your X-Acto blade and trim. It's okay to have a little bit of overhang. Overhang's okay. Just trim down those shingles. So in about 2 or 3 hours, I was able to remove the shingles, cut out the bad wood, and cut a new piece in and put on some new shingles. So that should solve the leak. And that should at least make the roof good enough to hold up for another year or two until we go ahead and put a metal roof on the whole surface. Because the shingles are not the newest, but they're not dead yet. Thanks for watching. This is Scott with Amateur Homestead, just doing this work around the house like usual. I hope you found this video helpful. Please comment and subscribe. Thank you.